Hello friends, my name is Dr. Siddharth. Today I am here to tell you something about the coronavirus epidemic and certain myths or certain questions which are coming to the minds of the public. So before going into the myths, that is questions and answers, we start with what coronavirus is, how it is different from other viruses and other epidemics. We know that we have heard that since ages that is mankind, the human race has faced many epidemics and pandemics even before this, and they have won over all this. And as we all know that this virus started in the People's Republic of China, and it came from one of the animal to human beings. Human got infected, and now there is a human to human transmission, means one infected human being is infecting other human beings, fellow human beings. So what I am telling you, that how coronavirus is different, because its spreading rate, we can say that technically, that is the transmission rate is very high as compared to other flu viruses. Number one is this, and morbidity is little high and mortality is even higher. So most of the epidemics, some of them, they are transmitted through the water, the waterborne diseases. Some of them, they are spread through the air, that is the respiratory diseases. So coronavirus is one respiratory disease. So how, first of all, we will understand that how this virus is transmitted from one person to another person. So if we will understand the mode of transmission, we will definitely be able to prevent how this transmission occurs. So this chain of transmission can be prevented now. One is the direct transmission. Direct transmission is a spread, since I have told you this is a respiratory disease. So if any infected person, remember, any infected person who is infected with the coronavirus, if he sneezes or coughs, certain droplets, the saliva particles, that means the secretion is coming from his nose, his mouth, the droplets are spread in the air. So any person who is coming into direct contact with those droplets will get infected. One is this. And now we will talk about the indirect transmission. Suppose any person who has sneezed, coughed, and very small droplets which are floating in the air, they are called as aerosols. If any person inhales those aerosols, he or she gets infected. One is this, another is this. Suppose a person is infected with the coronavirus, he has touched his mouth, he has touched his nose, means contaminated hands. If he touches anything, it could be the doorknob, it could be any of the item of the personal use. If any other person touches this surface within certain hours, that, as we all know, this virus remains alive on the metal and plastic surface for the long hours. He or she, if touching the surface and touches his mouth and nose, he or she will get infected. This is the indirect transmission. So how to avoid the direct and indirect transmission? First of all, that any person who is infected, who is a suspect, even who has come into the contact of the corona infected patient, he should cover his mouth and nose with a mask or handkerchief, whichever is available. Number one is this. Another is, now how should we prevent the indirect transmission? That is by not shaking the hands, adopting the traditional Indian posture that we call as Namaste, and namaste means my viruses are with me and your viruses and bacteria are with you. And apart from this benefit, the folding your both hands releases certain negative energy of the body, because body is said to have the two poles, and these poles unite and the negative energy is released. And another, if you don't like namaste, you can bow down. Simply you can do adab or whatever you like good, whatever you feel that is appropriate for your culture. This is very important. Then comes the frequent hand washing. Why hand washing is important? Because to prevent the indirect transmission, if we have touched any surface which is contaminated by coronavirus patient, we should wash our hands, because washing hands will for sure remove the viruses on your hand surface. And moreover, that we inadvertently touch our nose and our mouth, this is the tendency where you're not conscious, you're not aware of, but you touch it, so it is transmitted. Then comes to the use of the sanitizer. I must tell you here that if you don't have the hand wash facility, then only you should use hand sanitizers. Sanitizer has alcohol-based sanitizers, rather it should have minimum of the 70% of the alcohol. They have secondary importance to the hand washing. Means I wish to say that hand washing is much more protective than the sanitizers, and moreover this, there is a huge shortage of the sanitizers in the market, so please preserve them for the healthcare workers. And finally, we are coming to the certain questions and answers. Before going to questions and answer, I'm dealing in very brief that how coronavirus enters into the body and what it does to our body. For example, the virus has come to your nose, virus has come to your mouth, anyhow it will start multiplying. The virus, which is attached with any of the body cells in our nasal cavity, in our mouth, it has spikes, means it gets attached, the virus protein gets attached with our body cells protein, and it start hijacking. We can say that a single virus hijacks the single cell, and it associates itself with the DNA of our cell, and stopping every normal activity of our cell. It instructs that you produce my replica, you produce my copies, you produce. So our body cell is stopping all its normal activities, starts producing the viruses, millions and millions and trillions, and it starts infecting the neighboring adjoining cells. So virus starts multiplying in the throat itself, and then it goes down to the respiratory tract and ultimately in the lung. So why I'm telling you this? Because we have read in the newspapers that we will need so much of the ventilators, because virus is going to the terminal parts of your lung where gas exchange, means the oxygen we take, it goes into the blood, so gaseous exchange takes place. So virus, once it infects the lung cells, that is called as alveoli, it starts hijacking their function as well, and a lot of the water, that say we can say the fluid and pus, starts accumulating, so gaseous function is somewhere jeopardized. So during crucial times, who will need the ventilator? First of all, it should be very clear to us that this virus has 1%, approx 1% mortality, means out of the 100 people only one shall die, one may die, in fact I'll say. So out of the 100 people, 5 to 10 people only, 5 to 10 only, I must say, I repeat it, that 5 to 10 people will require the hospitalization, rest all will get okay. So out of those 10 people, suppose 2 or 3 are getting critical, if we have a ventilator, how ventilator helps? That giving the respiratory support means giving the oxygen means the person himself has lost capacity for the gaseous transmission, so there's definitely his or her life is in danger. So by having ventilator we can save the life. So now we are coming to the question related with the coronavirus. Rather than questions, I must say these are the myths which is there in the general public. Number one, that should we avoid eating meat, fishes, eggs, etc.? Can there be coronavirus in? So answer is that spiritually speaking, ideally speaking, you should not eat the animal flesh, but still you think that you are a addictive non-vegetarian and you wish to eat it, that then you can eat the non-veg, but it should be well cooked, means very well cooked. It should not be half cooked or something like this. The next question comes, the next myth comes, that can coronavirus spread through the mosquito bites? So answer is, the clarification is this, that so far there is no evidence of the coronavirus spreading through the mosquito bite. Now we come to third question, third myth, that how can the infrared thermometer, people say they come to hospitals to us, they say that we want the infrared thermometers. Have you seen the gun which people use, in fact which is used at airports or at any screen? So answer is that general public, please understand that you don't need infrared thermometers. These are only for the mass scanning, number one, and number two, this thermometer will scan only when the person has a fever. Suppose I give you an example, the person who is infected with the coronavirus, he has yet not developed the fever, he or she will go undetected, unnoticed into that infrared thermometer, means she can still spread, she can still transmit the viruses. So there is no use. And moreover, which some of the people who are coming from the abroad, they have done to evade this infrared thermometer screening, that they took antipyretics, means tablet crocins and paracetamols, which reduced their fever, which they went undetected, and later on they started transmitting the virus into the community, and there was a local transmission which we saw in our country, unfortunately, which was preventable, avoidable, but this was a mischief. The one more question comes, that the myth comes that can saline irrigation of the nose prevent your virus entering into your respiratory tract? The answer is, there is no such evidence for this. Saline irrigation, by let me clarify you that some people are doing jal neti. Jal neti means they're putting the water into the one nostril and getting out to the another nostril. So there's no such evidence that it will wash out your virus, because let me delve a little deep into this, because the virus has spikes. Have you seen the virus pictures? Not actual pictures. What you see is in fact a metaphorical picture, a graphical picture, that virus has a spikes on its surface. So they get attached with, they gets in fact firmly attached with our body surfaces. So there is no such evidence that gel neti or any such we should call the nasal irrigation shall help you. It may not, but still, the people who have sinusitis and such problems, I can convincingly say that gel neti shall help you from the sinus problems. It is established fact. Now the next question, the next myth is that coronavirus, that is a novel coronavirus, is dangerous only for the old people. This is a myth. I will say that I will say that this virus can infect, this virus can be transmitted to anyone of any age. Though this is true that this virus affects more the older people, and among those older people, elderly people who are having pre-existing medical illnesses, one of the most important is the bronchial asthma and certain heart diseases, kidney diseases. These diseases make you more vulnerable, not because of the old age, because of your respiratory tract is already compromised because of the bronchial asthma. It shall not be able to adjust, it shall not be able to cope with the virus assault. And now one thing I say here for the masses, for all youths, that young people, you are not invincible, you are not invulnerable. In fact, I must clarify here, those who are wondering, who are in fact violating the lockdown, that young people, you are more threat for the transmission of the virus, because this is very likely that virus infections shall remain asymptomatic in you people. And if you don't have, if you don't have these diseases, in fact your immunity is strong in the young age, but every young man is supposedly living with someone else, some other members of the family. It can be your uncle, it can be grandmother, your father, anyone who is already ill. So, but they are not invulnerable, they are very much vulnerable. So the invulnerable is no one. So young people, please stay at the home. This shall protect you, but also it shall protect your family. Not everyone in the family is young man or woman. Moreover, it is established that many of the young men have also died because of the lethal infection of the coronavirus. Now one more myth and one more question, that antibiotics shall prevent you from the coronavirus. My countrymen, friends, the antibiotics work against the bacteria. They have no role to play in virus caused maladies, including this coronavirus disease. So please don't take antibiotics unadvised and unprescribed by your doctor. You must consult your doctor. And antibiotics, I shall say that antibiotics may have certain role, but only in certain conditions, when there is a, we can say, coexisting bacterial infection. So please don't take the antibiotics on your own. The one more myth is the face mask. Will the face mask protect you from the virus? I am saying here that this is a general surgical mask which is available over the counter at the medical store. Having face masks for the general people is not advisable until and unless there is a corona patient in their family, in their vicinity, and moreover if they are maintaining the safe distance, then also face mask is not really required. Then for whom it is advisable, that only person who is having flu, who is having cold, one who is sneezing frequently, it could be because of the coronavirus or any other virus, any other flu in fact. So the mask should be worn by those people only. One more question, the pets. Many people are having pets in their family. Pets can transmit the virus. So far there is no such established evidence that pets can transmit the virus, but which I explained you in beginning, that indirect transmission can occur. If someone has sneezed on your pet, someone who is infected with the coronavirus has sneezed on your pet, or if not sneeze, that you have taken your pet to for the walk around, it shall put its paws over the gloves over the infected surface, then it can transmit the virus. So I will say that pets are no carrier in the true sense, but the surface, the body surface transmission, that means indirect transmission, is always true, which is a possible case. Now I shall tell you one more thing, that patients are coming to us. They have this apprehension that we are sitting at the home, staying at the home, can coronavirus come to us? No, this is not a mosquito, this is not a fly that shall fly and it will come to your house, as there are many messages on the social media that this virus cannot come to home unless you step out of your home and it took, suppose you're getting infected with any other corona patient and you are taking it to your home, so it doesn't come to the air, it doesn't come through any other source. The only thing, if you're coming into the direct contact, so staying at the home is the only solution we have right now. The one last question, which may be more relevant for the doctor friends, that there is a circulation of the messages that SCQS drug, even the general public, they have started buying this medicine without any prescription. So I must tell you that this medicine is one of the immunomodulator drug, means it reduces your immunity. It may reduce your immunity. Please listen carefully, that it may reduce your immunity. Reducing your immunity means that even if you are not infected with the corona, you are not in exposure to the corona patients, you shall reduce your immunity by taking this drug. So please, general people don't take. However, by certain institutions, it has been in fact instructed that it can be taken by the people, it can healthcare workers in the certain prescribed dose. Now the one more question which is coming to me, that through my personal chats, that there is one thing written in the book of the biology in the class 11, that coronavirus is one of the flu virus, and one of the tablet known as aspirin can be helpful. Friends, understand that aspirin is a drug which must not be, I will say that it should not only should not be, but it must not be taken in any viral disease. It can land you into the big problem, it can land you into the danger. So please don't take aspirin, don't take any medicine which is written in the biology book or any other literature. Now I come to the last question, which has also come to me through my YouTube channel, that one of the messages is being circulated by the Vishwarup Rai Chaudhary. He is a so-called a doctor. I will say that he is not a doctor. First of all, he has done a certain I think he has done a certificate course from one of the institutions somewhere in abroad, and is distributing knowledge so unauthorized, like he is not, in fact he is not competent. Number one, he is not authorized to speak about the biology of the treatment of the coronavirus. So please don't believe such rumors, and anyone who is not expert to speak, don't listen to him. Anyone who is not expert in his field is not worth to listen. And what Vishwarup Rai Chaudhary is, what knowledge is spreading, in fact, is nothing but a conjecture. The final question of the people, that can whiskey, rum, or any other alcohol, suppose rinsing your mouth, rinsing your throat, shall protect you from the virus? Friends, first of all, I must tell you that alcohol reduces your immunity, so please don't drink it if you are, especially during these days. There's already dry day, and there is no such evidence that once the virus has entered into the body, that means it has gone to your nose, gone to your mouth, it has gone to your respiratory tract. None of the alcohol, none of the brands shall protect you. It is once the virus enters into your body, it is your immunity, which shall protect you. Nothing else, nothing else. Finally, by one message that I have tried to clarify each and everything which is generally a misconception, that please stay at home, don't be panicked, don't be fearful, but be aware and be alert. That shall protect you from the virus. We shall win, we shall win. And India has won many wars in the past as well. And if I remind you that in the 1965 war, when India was not a well resourced and well provisioned country, we used to import the food grains, but still we won the war in the leadership of our late Honorable Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri ji. So we won the war with limited resources. So why we won the war? I should remind you that I have read the history as well, that we got united. We had a one spirit that we shall protect our nation, because for the months people started eating half of the meals. The stomach was half full. They started eating once in a day, just to reduce the dependence upon the Western countries for the food grains, and it helped our leaders. So we should also contribute on our part to help our present leader, our Prime Minister, that please stay at home. The lockdown has been imposed because we have no option. So far we are in the stage 3. Once we enter into the stage, I'm sorry that we are in the stage 2. Once the virus enters into the stage 3, that is the community transmission, it will be very difficult to prevent it. I shall say that not only difficult, but it shall be impossible for us to prevent it. The only the stage we can prevent is this stage, this time. So please stay at home, respect the lockdowns, and for the first time that it has been said that one who is lazy, one who doesn't step out of the home, will be the winner, will be the biggest contributor in this war. This is a war against the virus. Whole humanity, whole human race, the mankind is at the receiving end. The one person can help it. Every single person has a role to play. Please don't take it casually, take it seriously. Because so far there is no definitive treatment available, no effective, conclusive treatment available against the virus. Only thing is the prevention is the key. I will say Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, and Namaskar. Take care of yourself. Thank you.